Nobody on the horizon's edge had ever seen anything so small and so useless. The creature sat inside a metal carrier, barely visible through the grated door. It had orange fur, tiny pink ears, and eyes that seemed permanently half-closed, as if the universe bored it. The alien crew members gathered around, pushing each other aside to get a better look at the famous Earth animal they had heard so much about. Leo Harding stood beside the carrier, waiting patiently. He had expected this reaction. Every ship he served on gave him the same welcome when they saw Biscuit for the first time. Commander Roll pushed through the crowd. He was Vethrani, standing nearly 3 meters tall, with 4 muscular arms and dark blue amphibian skin. His species had evolved alongside massive predators, and they measured worth by size and strength. He crouched down and peered into the carrier. Biscuit yawned, showing small white teeth. This is the creature humans treasure above all others. Roll asked. His voice carried disbelief and amusement in equal measure. This is Biscuit, Leo said. He's been with me for 7 years. One of the crew members, a younger Vethrani named Tira, leaned closer. It is so small. What does it do? He's a companion, Leo explained, and an excellent hunter. The room exploded with laughter. Roll straightened up, his 4 arms crossed over his broad chest. Hunter? This thing? My people keep warhounds that stand taller than your entire body. They can tear through hull plating with their jaws. What could this creature possibly hunt? Mice, mostly, Leo admitted. Small birds. Insects. The laughter grew louder. Crew members slapped each other on the back, wiping tears from their eyes. One of them mimicked the cat's tiny yawn, and the others nearly collapsed with amusement. On Vethra, Roll said, still chuckling, we would use this creature as bait for real predators. Does it serve any purpose at all? Can you eat it? Leo's expression remained calm. He had answered these questions 100 times before. No, he's family. Family. Roll repeated the word as if tasting something strange. You humans carry your family in a box. Only when traveling through space, Leo said. At home, he has his own bed, his own food, his own toys. Tira tilted her head. Toys? You give toys to your food. He's not food. He's a pet. What is the difference? Leo considered the question. I love him. He loves me. We take care of each other. This seemed to confuse the aliens even more. The concept of keeping a small, seemingly helpless creature purely for companionship made no sense to species that valued practical strength above all else. Roll waved his upper right hand dismissively. Take your creature to your quarters, human. Try not to let it get stepped on. Some of our cargo containers weigh more than your entire pet. More laughter followed Leo as he picked up the carrier and walked down the corridor. He heard whispers behind him, jokes about the tiny beast, bets about whether it would survive the voyage. His quarters were small but comfortable. Leo set the carrier on the bed and opened the door. Biscuit stretched, stepped out slowly, and surveyed the room with the casual indifference that only cats possessed. They don't know what you are, Leo said softly, scratching behind the cat's ears. They see a small, lazy creature that sleeps all day. They don't understand. Biscuit purred and pressed his head against Leo's hand. Leo smiled. He remembered reading about cats back on Earth, how humans had first domesticated them thousands of years ago. Cats were never pets in the traditional sense. They were partners. They chose to live alongside humans because both species benefited. Cats killed the vermin that destroyed human food supplies. Humans provided warmth and shelter. That IT was a partnership between predators. The alien crew did not understand this. They saw Biscuit's small size and constant sleeping as weakness. They did not realize that cats conserved energy deliberately. They did not know that when cats hunted, they did so with absolute precision and zero wasted motion. 30 million years of evolution had turned cats into perfect killing machines. Leo lay back on his bed, and Biscuit curled up on his chest. The cat's eyes were already closing again. They'll learn, Leo whispered. They always do. For now, Biscuit was the laughing stock of the horizon's edge. Crew members would visit just to see the tiny creature and mock its existence. They would take pictures and send them to other ships, spreading jokes about the foolish human who brought a useless animal into space. But Leo was patient. He had seen this story play out before. Sooner or later, something would happen. Something always did. And when that moment came, the galaxy would remember what humans had always known. Small did not mean weak. Quiet did not mean harmless. And the creatures that slept the most were often the ones that hunted the best. Biscuit purred in his sleep, dreaming of whatever cats dreamed of. Perhaps he dreamed of birds. Perhaps he dreamed of mice. Perhaps he dreamed of things far larger and far more dangerous. The ship hummed around them, carrying them deeper into the void between stars. The crew laughed and joked and forgot about the tiny orange creature in the humans' quarters. They would not forget for long. 2 weeks into the voyage, someone started a betting pool. The rules were simple. Crew members wagered on whether the human's cat would do anything interesting before the ship reached its destination. Anything at all. One remarkable action. One display of the hunting prowess that Leo Harding claimed his creature possessed. So far, no one had won. Biscuit spent his days sleeping in Leo's quarters, eating from a small bowl and grooming his orange fur with obsessive dedication. Occasionally, he would stare at nothing for several minutes, then return to sleeping. The crew found this endlessly amusing. "Your mighty hunter has been asleep for 9 hours," a crew member announced, poking his head into Leo's quarters during a lunch break. "I believe my water cup has shown more activity today." Leo smiled and continued eating. He never argued with the mockery. There was no point. The visits became a daily ritual. Alien crew members would stop by just to observe Biscuit doing absolutely nothing. They would narrate his movements with exaggerated commentary, treating each yawn and stretch as if it were a major event. But one visitor was different. Tira, the young Vethrani, began asking genuine questions. She sat cross-legged on the floor of Leo's quarters, watching Biscuit with curious eyes. "Tell me about Earth hunters," she said one evening. "Real ones, not this sleeping thing." Leo set down his datapad. Biscuit is a real hunter. On Earth, cats are apex predators in their size category. Size category. Tira's 4 arms gestured confusion. "This creature could fit in my hand." "Size does not matter in hunting," Leo explained. "Technique matters. Patience matters. Precision matters." He pointed at Biscuit, who was currently staring at a small insect on the wall. "Watch." Tira watched. The cat did not move. Not a twitch. Not a flicker. Its eyes tracked the insect with absolute focus, and its body remained perfectly still. What is it doing? Waiting. For what? The perfect moment. The insect moved. Biscuit launched from the bed in a blur of orange fur, struck the wall with one paw, and landed with the insect trapped beneath his claws. The entire sequence lasted less than a second that Tira's eyes widened. "That was very fast. Cats are ambush predators," Leo said. "They do not chase. They do not fight. They wait until their prey is vulnerable, and then they strike with everything they have. One attack, one kill, no wasted energy." Biscuit released the insect and returned to the bed, already losing interest. The hunt was over. Time to sleep again. Tira looked at the cat differently now. Why does it sleep so much? Conservation. Hunting takes enormous energy. Cats spend most of their time resting so they can explode into action when necessary. Interesting. Tira stood and headed for the door. "Still, I do not think this creature could harm anything larger than that insect. It is simply too small." Leo shrugged. "Maybe." That night, something changed aboard the Horizon's Edge. The IT started small. A tool went missing from the engineering bay. Scratch marks appeared on a cargo container in the lower holds. The air recyclers detected an unfamiliar scent signature, something that did not match any crew member's biological profile. Commander Roll dismissed the concerns. "Old ships have old problems," he announced during the morning briefing. "Loose panels, faulty sensors, nothing to worry about." But the crew worried anyway. Something felt wrong. The corridors seemed darker. The shadows seemed deeper. Several crew members reported hearing strange sounds at night, soft scraping noises that came from the ventilation system. In his quarters, Leo noticed a change in Biscuit. The cat was no longer sleeping peacefully. Instead, Biscuit sat on the bed with his fur slightly raised along his spine. His ears rotated independently, catching sounds that Leo could not hear. His eyes fixed on the ventilation grate above the door. "What is it, buddy?" Leo asked. Biscuit did not respond. He simply stared, unblinking, at the grate. Leo felt a chill run down his spine. He had owned cats his entire life. He knew their behaviors intimately. And right now, Biscuit was displaying a behavior that Leo had only seen once before. Biscuit was hunting, not playing, not practicing, actually hunting. Something was aboard this ship, something that Biscuit had identified as prey. Leo walked to the door and looked down the empty corridor. Everything appeared normal. The emergency lights glowed softly. The hum of the engines filled the silence. But somewhere in the darkness, something was watching, and Biscuit was watching it right back. The crew continued their jokes and their betting pools, unaware of what lurked in their vessel. They laughed at the tiny cat and mocked the foolish human who loved it. They did not know that the hunter had awakened. They did not know that the prey had arrived. And they did not know that very soon they would learn why Earth's smallest predators were often its deadliest. The Biscuit's tail twitched once. His claws extended slightly, then retracted. The wait was beginning. The scream came from the lower maintenance corridor. The IT was short. Too short. The kind of scream that meant someone had been silenced before they could finish. Crew members froze in their stations, looking at each other with growing dread. Commander Roll organized a search party immediately. 6 armed Vethrani descended into the maintenance level, plasma rifles ready, communication channels open. Leo listened to the chatter from his quarters, one hand resting on Biscuit's back. The cat was still staring at the ventilation grate. "We found him," a voice crackled over the speakers. "Lower corridor 7. He's dead." Roll's voice came next, hard and controlled. "Ow!" 3 parallel gashes across the torso. Deep. Whatever did this was strong. The ship went to high alert. All crew members were ordered to remain in their quarters with doors sealed. Armed guards patrolled the main corridors in pairs. The jokes and laughter had stopped completely. An hour later, the senior crew gathered in the main conference room. Leo was summoned along with everyone else. He brought Biscuit, cradled against his chest. "We reviewed the security footage," Roll announced grimly. "There is a creature aboard this vessel. We cannot identify it. The cameras only captured a blur of movement." An elderly Vethrani named Sorrel stepped forward. His scales had faded with age, but his eyes remained sharp. He examined the images on the display screen, then slowly sat down. "I know these wounds," he said quietly. "I have seen them before. Many years ago, on a colony world near the outer reaches." "What made them?" Roll demanded. "A Fangbeast." The room went silent. Leo did not recognize the name, but the reaction of the alien crew told him everything. Faces drained of color. Hands trembled. Someone cursed softly in a language Leo did not understand. "Impossible," Roll said. "Fangbeasts cannot survive in space." "They can if they enter stasis," Sorrel replied. "They are ambush predators of the highest order. They can slow their metabolism to almost nothing, sleeping for months or years while waiting for prey. One must have boarded at our last port, hidden in the cargo." Tira raised her hand. "For those unfamiliar, what exactly is a Fangbeast?" Sorrel turned to face her, his expression haunted. "They are the apex predator of the outer reaches. 3 meters long, covered in black scales harder than armor plating. They possess claws that can tear through steel and teeth that can crush bone. They hunt by sensing body heat and movement. They are silent. They are patient. And they are responsible for wiping out 17 colony outposts over the past century. How do we kill it?" Roll asked. "We do not," Sorrel said flatly. "We evacuate the ship and vent it to vacuum. That is the only reliable method. We are 3 weeks from the nearest station. We cannot evacuate." The room fell into desperate silence. Leo felt Biscuit shift in his arms, still alert, still watching. The cat had not relaxed since the disturbances began. Tira approached Leo after the meeting ended. "Are you frightened, human?" "Yes," Leo admitted. "Very. What about your creature?" She nodded toward Biscuit. "Does it understand the danger?" Leo looked down at his cat. Biscuit's pupils were dilated, fully black, absorbing every trace of light. His ears rotated constantly, tracking sounds from all directions. His claws extended and retracted in slow rhythm. I think he understands better than any of us, Leo said quietly. Tira almost smiled. Almost. Forgive me, but I do not think your tiny companion will be of much help. A Fangbeast would swallow him in a single bite. Maybe. You keep saying that word. Maybe. Tira shook her head. There is no maybe here. Your creature is prey. We are all prey now. She walked away, leaving Leo alone in the corridor. That night, the Fangbeast killed again. Two more crew members, both found in isolated sections of a ship. The same wounds, the same terrifying efficiency. Security footage showed nothing useful, just shadows and movement too fast to track. The crew was panicking. Armed guards refused to patrol alone. Some crew members sealed themselves in the cargo holds, hoping the thick walls would provide protection. In his quarters, Leo sat with Biscuit on his lap. The cat was purring, but it was not the soft purr of contentment. It was deeper, rougher, a vibration that Leo could feel in his chest. You know where it is, don't you? Leo whispered to Biscuit's eyes fixed on the door. Beyond it, somewhere in the dark corridors, the Fangbeast was hunting, and Biscuit was ready to hunt right back. Leo did not sleep that night. Neither did his cat. Tomorrow would bring either death or deliverance. The galaxy's apex predator had entered the game, but had not yet met Earth's representative. The auxiliary power room was supposed to be safe. Commander Roll had ordered Leo to check on the backup systems. All primary engineers were either dead or barricaded in the main engineering bay, and someone needed to verify the auxiliary generators were operational. Leo did not want to go. Every instinct screamed at him to stay hidden. But the ship needed power, and Leo was the only human engineer aboard. He walked through the dark corridors with Biscuit in his arms. Emergency lighting painted everything in dim red. The normal hum of the engines seemed quieter, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. Biscuit was completely still, not relaxed, ready. The auxiliary room was located on Deck 4, a section that had been cleared by security just an hour ago. Leo's footsteps echoed against the metal floor as he approached the sealed door. He entered his access code, and the door slid open with a soft hiss. The room was dark, darker than it should have been. The emergency lights here were dead, leaving only the faint glow from the corridor behind him. Leo stepped inside and raised his flashlight. The beam swept across control panels and power conduits, all normal. It passed over storage containers and maintenance tools, all in place. Then it reached the corner of the room. Leo stopped breathing. The Fangbeast was curled in the shadows. Sleeping. It was enormous. 3 meters of black scales and razor-sharp spines, coiled like a serpent in the darkness. Its chest rose and fell slowly, rhythmically. Its claws, each one longer than Leo's forearm, scraped gently against the floor with each exhale. Leo could not move. His muscles refused to obey. The flashlight trembled in his grip, the beam shaking against the creature's hide. This was it. This was how he died, alone in a dark room, staring at the thing that had terrorized 12 star systems. Slowly, carefully, Leo began to step backward. Biscuit leaped from his arms. Leo opened his mouth to shout, to scream, to do something. But his voice died in his throat as he watched his tiny orange cat sprint toward the sleeping monster. There was no hesitation, no fear, just 30 million years of predatory evolution compressed into a 4-kilogram package of orange fur and absolute killing intent. Biscuit crossed the distance in complete silence. His paws made no sound against the metal floor. His body moved with fluid precision, every muscle coordinated perfectly. The Fangbeast's neck was armored with thick scales, but there was a gap, a narrow strip where the scales thinned to allow the creature to turn its head. That was where the major blood vessels ran. That was where the creature was vulnerable. And that was exactly where Biscuit struck. Claws and teeth found the gap with surgical accuracy. The cat latched on and tore, shredding through muscle and artery in one savage motion. The The Fangbeast's eyes snapped open. It roared, a sound that shook the walls and rattled Leo's skull. It thrashed wildly, smashing against equipment, trying to dislodge the tiny creature attached to its throat, but it was already too late. Biscuit had opened the artery. Blood poured from the wound, thick and dark, spreading across the floor in a growing pool. The Fangbeast staggered, its movements becoming sluggish, uncoordinated. IT never even saw what killed it. The creature collapsed with a final shudder, its massive body hitting the floor with enough force to send vibrations through the deck. Its eyes glazed over. Its breathing stopped. The apex predator of the outer reaches, terror of 17 colony worlds, was dead. Biscuit stepped off the corpse, blood soaking his fur from paw to shoulder. He sat down on the clean section of floor and began grooming himself, licking the blood from his fur with calm, methodical strokes. Leo stared. His legs gave out, and he collapsed against a doorframe, sliding down until he sat on the floor. His flashlight rolled away, beam pointing at the ceiling. His hands would not stop shaking. Minutes passed. Maybe 5, maybe 10. Leo could not tell. Finally, he found his voice. Biscuit. The cat looked up from his grooming, orange eyes meeting Leo's gaze. He meowed once, a soft questioning sound, as if asking why Leo was making such a fuss. You just... Leo could not finish the sentence. Biscuit returned to grooming. The blood was almost gone now, his fur returning to its normal orange color. When he finished, he walked over to Leo and rubbed against his leg, purring. Leo reached down with trembling hands and lifted his cat. He held Biscuit against his chest, feeling the small body vibrate with contentment. Good boy, Leo whispered, his voice cracking. Good boy. The communication device on his bell crackled. Commander Roll's voice came through, tense and worried. Human. Report. We detected a massive heat signature on Deck 4. What is your status? Leo looked at the dead Fangbeast. Then he looked at his cat, who was already falling asleep in his arms. The Fangbeast is dead, Leo said. Silence. Repeat that. The Fangbeast is dead. Come to Auxiliary Power Room 3. Bring everyone. He clicked off the device and sat in the darkness, his cat purring against his chest, the body of a monster cooling on the floor beside him. Earth had sent its representative. The galaxy had received the message. Commander Roll stared at the body for a very long time. The entire crew had gathered in the Auxiliary Power Room. They stood in a wide circle around the dead Fangbeast, their expressions frozen somewhere between disbelief and terror. Not terror of the monster, which was clearly dead. Terror of what had killed it. Biscuit sat on a nearby control panel, grooming his paw. He had missed a spot of blood earlier, and he was determined to clean it properly. Play it again, Roll ordered. The security officer rewound the footage and projected it onto the wall. The crew watched in absolute silence as the tiny orange cat crossed the room, leaped onto the sleeping beast, and tore out its throat in less than 4 seconds. Again, they watched it 3 more times. Each viewing revealed new details. The precision of the strike, the complete silence of the approach, the way the cat targeted the exact point of vulnerability without hesitation. How? Roll finally asked. He turned to face Leo, who stood apart from the group with Biscuit now cradled in his arms. How is this possible? Leo had expected this question. He had answered it before, on other ships, for other species. Cats are ambush predators, he began. They evolved on Earth over 30 million years. Their hunting strategy is simple. Conserve energy. Wait for vulnerability. Strike once with maximum force. Do not give prey a chance to fight back. But the size difference, Tira protested. The Fangbeast was 50 times larger. Size does not matter in ambush hunting. Accuracy matters. Speed matters. Cats do not fight their prey. They kill their prey. There's a difference. Sorrel, the elder Vethrani, stepped closer to examine the wound on the Fangbeast's neck. His old hands traced the torn flesh with clinical interest. The cut is clean, he murmured. Precise. The creature targeted the vulnerable point with perfect accuracy. How did it know where to strike? Instinct, Leo said. Cats have been killing for millions of years. They know where things die. The room fell silent again. Roll looked at Biscuit, who had finished grooming and was now purring contentedly in Leo's arms. The same creature that had seemed so ridiculous 2 weeks ago now appeared deeply unsettling. "You told us this creature was a hunter," Roll said slowly. "We laughed." "You did." "We were wrong." "You were." Tira approached cautiously. "The cat you brought aboard, is it typical of Earth creatures?" Leo considered his response carefully. Biscuit is a domestic cat. He was bred over thousands of years to be gentle and friendly toward humans. His wild ancestors were larger, faster, and far more aggressive. More aggressive than this. Tira gestured at the dead Fangbeast. Much more. Wildcats on Earth hunt in coordinated packs. Some species can bring down animals 20 times their weight through teamwork and strategy. Roll made a sound that might have been a laugh if it contained any humor. Your planet domesticated apex predators for companionship. We domesticated several species. Actually, dogs are pack hunters that we train for protection and herding. Falcons are aerial predators that we train for hunting. Horses are massive prey animals that we train for transportation and warfare. And cats. Cats chose us, Leo said. Thousands of years ago, humans started farming. Farming attracted rodents. Rodents attracted cats. The cats killed the rodents, and humans provided shelter in return. It was a partnership. Sorrel looked up from the corpse. You formed an alliance with predators. Multiple predators. Over thousands of years. We learned to live alongside creatures that could kill us, and they learned to live alongside us. The implications hung in the air like smoke. Earth was not a world of soft, harmless creatures that humans dominated through technology. It was a world of killers, and humans had somehow convinced the killers to join their side. Tira stared at Biscuit with new eyes. Is it dangerous to us? Leo smiled for the first time since the ordeal began. Biscuit? No. He only hunts things that threaten his family. He looked around the room at the stunned, alien faces. And you are his family now. All of you. You gave him a place to sleep and food to eat. He will protect you the same way he protected me. Nobody laughed this time. Biscuit opened his eyes and surveyed the room. His gaze passed over each crew member in turn, measuring, evaluating. Then he yawned, showing those small white teeth that had just ripped open an apex predator's throat and settled back to sleep. Commander Roll issued orders quietly. The body would be documented and stored for study. The room would be cleaned. Normal operations would resume. But nothing was normal anymore. The crew looked at their human colleague differently now. They looked at his cat differently. They wondered what other secrets Earth kept, what other predators humanity had befriended, and somewhere in the back of their minds, they were grateful. Grateful that the humans had come to space. Grateful that they had brought their killers with them. Grateful that for once, the tiny creature was on their side. 3 days after the killing, Biscuit received his own bed on the bridge. Commander Roll had ordered it personally. A small cushioned platform, positioned near the navigation console, where warm air flowed from the environmental systems. The crew had lined it with the softest fabric they could find in storage. Biscuit accepted the offering with the dignity of a creature who had always known he deserved it. Word has spread, Roll told Leo during a private meeting in his quarters. Every ship in the trading network knows what happened here. A human's companion creature killed a Fangbeast. Leo sat across from the commander, accepting the drink that was offered. It was strong, bitter, and probably dangerous for human consumption. He drank it anyway. I am receiving requests, Roll continued. Other captains want to know if humans can provide these cat creatures for their vessels. They believe cats could serve as security against unknown threats. Cats are not security systems, Leo said. They are companions. They bond with specific people and places. You cannot deploy them like weapons. Then how do we convince more humans to bring their cats aboard our ships? Leo smiled. You treat them with respect. You give them warm places to sleep and good food to eat. And you stop laughing at them. Roll nodded slowly. We have learned that lesson. Outside the commander's quarters, life on the horizon's edge had changed completely. Crew members who once mocked the tiny cat now made detours to visit him on the bridge. They brought offerings of food and toys. They spoke to him in soft voices and scratched behind his ears with careful claws. Biscuit accepted all of this as his natural right. Tira had become the cat's most devoted admirer. She spent hours in the ship's database, researching Earth's fauna. Leo found her one evening surrounded by holographic displays showing various predators from his homeworld. "This cannot be accurate," she said when he approached. "It says that humans regularly swim in oceans containing creatures called sharks. Creatures with rows of teeth that can bite through metal. It is accurate. And this." She pulled up another image. Crocodiles. Armored reptiles that have remained unchanged for millions of years because they are already perfect killing machines. Humans share rivers with these things. Some humans wrestle them for entertainment. Tira stared at him with an expression that combined horror and fascination in equal measure. "Your species is insane. We prefer the term adaptable." She turned off the displays and sat back. "I've been thinking about what you said. About cats choosing to live alongside humans. About the partnership between predators. And I think I understand now why humans are so strange to us. We evolved by avoiding predators. We built our civilizations by creating distance from dangerous creatures. But you," she shook her head, "you walked toward the danger. You made friends with the monsters." Leo considered this. "We did not have a choice. Earth is a harsh world. Predators are everywhere. Running from them forever was not possible. So our ancestors learned to work with them instead. And now you bring them to the stars. We bring our friends to the stars. Our partners. Our family." Leo glanced toward the bridge, where Biscuit was presumably sleeping in his new bed. Cats protected human food stores for thousands of years. Dogs protected human tribes. Horses carried humans across continents. We owe them everything. Tira stood and walked toward the bridge. Leo followed. Biscuit was indeed sleeping, curled into a tight ball on his cushioned platform. Around him, the bridge crew moved quietly, respectfully. One crew member paused to stroke the cat's fur gently before returning to her station. "I never thought I would see this," Tira said softly. "My people treating a creature that small with such reverence. He earned it. He did." She paused. "Will he protect us again if something else threatens the ship?" Leo watched his cat sleep. Those small ears twitched occasionally, tracking sounds throughout the vessel. Even in rest, the hunter remained aware. "He will protect his family," Leo said. "Always." The horizon's edge continued its voyage through the endless dark between stars. The crew went about their duties. The engines hummed. The life support systems circulated air and warmth. And on the bridge, the apex predator slept that he had proven himself. He had shown the galaxy what Earth's creatures could do. Now he rested, conserving energy, waiting for the next threat that if one came, he would be ready that he was a cat. This was what cats did. They waited. They watched. And when the moment arrived, they killed with perfect efficiency and zero mercy. The crew of the Horizon's Edge would never laugh at the tiny orange cat again. Neither would anyone else. Biscuit opened one eye, surveyed his domain, and purred. All was well. The hunter had done his work. Now it was time to sleep.